Hello, it's Tuesday, July 18th, 2017, and you're watching Life Talk. I'm Mark Crutcher.
And I'm Renee Hobbs. Thanks for joining us.
You know, Renee, a couple of years ago, it's been just about 2 years exactly, it was the last time we had Dr. Matthew Harrison on.
Yes.
And he's one of the pioneers in this idea that you can reverse RU46.
Yes.
And they've had great success with this. Yep. Babies are out there alive and well. Yep. that were allowed to live after these procedures. And, of course, since then, the abortion lobby has been fighting it tooth and nail.
Oh, of course.
And, you know, we talk on here all the time about the fact that their rhetoric about choice is a lie. Right. And we had some examples of it just yesterday, as a matter of fact. But, you know, their deal about wanting federal funding. So, in other words, you and I, a woman has a right to choose abortion, but you and I don't have the right to choose whether we want to pay for it or not.
Right. Yeah, this is a prime example of of choice, and it's not a choice.
And in this case, they're saying that basically women have the right to choose abortion, but they don't have the right to unchoose it. And so they support a woman's right to choose, as long as she's choosing an abortion. But if she's choosing something else, which we see all the time, which is why they hate the crisis pregnancy centers, and they hate things like this abortion pill reversal idea. And it's starting to catch on. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot they can do to stop it. And just today, there's an article out in the New York Times Magazine talking about this. Of course, obviously, being the New York Times, you can appreciate the spin they're putting on it. But again, Dr. Matthew Harrison is with us, and he's joining us from Charlotte, North Carolina. Hello, Dr. Harrison. How are you?
Hi, Mark. Hi, Renee. Glad to speak with you all again.
Yes, we appreciate your coming on, especially at short notice. We just called you a couple hours ago, and you took time out of your, I'm sure, very busy schedule to join us. But this is an important issue. Have you seen this new article in the New York Times?
I read it about an hour ago.
Okay. What's your take on what they're saying here?
Well, and I agree with you that they do have a pro-choice and pro-abortion slant to their article, but they actually involve several other experts outside of us that say that, yes, this all makes sense, that progesterone should be able to reverse the effects of RU46. And I think in the long run, their article actually gives more credence to our protocol.
Now, for the people who didn't see the show when you were on it before, explain what's going on here. Explain in layman's terms as best you can what the medical situation is here, that you use progesterone to reverse the effects of RU46. Is that basically it?
So RU46 is the abortion pill that is given to women generally anywhere from 6 weeks and now has been FDA approved up to 10 weeks of pregnancy. And the women take the pill in the doctor's office, and then somewhere around 48 hours later, they take a second medication that induces labor. So the abortion pill itself blocks the progesterone receptor in the uterus and along the placenta, which is the area where progesterone normally supports a healthy pregnancy and allows nutrients, blood flow, exchange of oxygen to get to the developing baby. And so RU46 blocks that receptor. The woman's body thinks that there is no progesterone around, and the placenta separates from the womb. The woman essentially has like a menstrual cycle. Her body thinks that there's no progesterone around, the baby is starved of nutrition, the placenta separates away, and the baby dies. And then the second medication that's given 48 hours later puts the mother into labor so that the contents of the uterus are expelled. So what our protocols do is we give extra progesterone to supplement the woman so that we can outcompete RU46 at the receptor site. So even though RU46 is about twice as strong of a binder to the receptor, if we give twice as much progesterone, then we've been able to reverse the effects of RU46 and have been able to maintain pregnancies. RU46 is generally out of the body within 72 hours to 5 days, and after that we back off on supplementation, and reduce the amounts of progesterone. We usually try to supplement women up through the end of the first trimester, and after that, very rarely do women need further medication to support the pregnancy, and they do fine.
Now, the doctors that are opposition, that are going against what you guys are doing, they, in this article, says that even if the progesterone shot was not given, the baby would still survive. They said that it was like a 30 to 50% chance. What's your take on that?
Yeah, Renee, I'm glad you brought that up, because that is one of their main points of opposition. The problem with their analysis is that it's a faulty interpretation of the data. So the studies that they're looking at they're measuring what's termed a failed abortion. And so their failed abortion includes babies that have died or embryos that have died but have not come out, and it also includes embryos that have survived. So even if a baby dies and is not expelled from the mother, they consider that a failed abortion. And so they're not actually doing ultrasounds to determine whether the embryo and the fetus is still alive or not. And so many of the failed abortions still have resulted in dead fetuses. So when they quote the statistics of up to 50%, that is actually they're quoting statistics of 50% failed abortions in women who take only the first part of the abortion process. And that actually was only found in one study. The studies actually range in 7% all the way up to 50% of failed abortions. But that failed abortion includes babies that have died but have not come out. So we have just published with Dr. Mary Davenport another more precise review of the literature that looked at 18 different studies that showed that even at its best, babies that are exposed to RE46 but are not exposed to the second part of the abortion procedure can survive up to 25% of the time. So really at best, their best numbers are 25% of embryo survival.
Well, let me ask you a question. Let's just say for a moment, from a pro-life perspective, let's say that it only worked one time out of 100. Wouldn't it still be worth doing to save that one baby?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So let's just talk a little bit about a standard of care of medicine. In our studies, we're showing that even our lowest success rate is above 50%. But our best protocols that are being followed to the letter, we're getting 60 and 70% survival of embryos and babies that go on to a healthy birth. So in medicine, we talk about something called the number to treat. And the number to treat is defined as the number of patients that need to be treated in order for you to have a success of what you're trying to do. So really, even if you look very conservatively at our numbers, we need to treat 2 women, 1 baby survive. So
makes sense.
50%.
Right.
So look at something else that's very well known and very accepted in medical field today, such as cholesterol treatment. So everyone knows that if your cholesterol is high, the medical doctor is going to prescribe some type of medication, Lipitor or some type of statin medication to lower cholesterol. Everybody accepts that as standard of care, and they think nothing of it. But the number to treat for cholesterol, if you have to treat 167 patients a day for 4 years in order to prevent 1 cardiac event.
Wow.
So you look at that and you think of how many people are going through the costs and the side effects of medication for cholesterol control, when really you're treating 167 patients for 4 years every single day, including all the expenses and all the trouble to prevent 1 cardiac event or stroke event. Whereas in our protocol, we only have to treat 2 people for just a short period of time, a matter of weeks, and you're saving a life.
Wow. But the bottom line is they don't want anything to interfere with the killing of that baby. Once they've got that woman convinced that her best option is to kill her baby, they don't want anything stopping that process. That is crystal clear to me, because
it seems that way for sure.
Absolutely, because if you truly support a woman's right, their quote unquote woman's right to choose, then you would have to support her right to not choose, right? You can't. If she doesn't have the right not to choose, then she doesn't have the right to choose. She has the right to be forced.
Well, I'm thankful
Sure.
that at least 10 states are trying to pass this legislation where in the abortion mills, they have to say that you can reverse it after
Right.
the first pill is taken. Just like at crisis pregnancy centers, it states that you can still have an abortion, and I don't know if there's a phone number on there or not, but they have to advertise for abortion at crisis pregnancy centers. So the same should be true for death mills here.
Right. These death camps should, yeah, that's a good point. You've got all these states, I'm sure you followed it, Dr. Harrison, where they're trying to force crisis pregnancy centers. Matter of fact, they are forcing crisis pregnancy centers to give referrals for abortions for women who decide that after they've been given a positive pregnancy test that that's what they're going to do. The crisis pregnancy center is being mandated by law to give them a referral for an abortion.
Right.
And yet they will fight tooth and nail against the situation where a woman decides, hey, I made a bad decision, I want to undo my choice and give life to my baby. They're saying, no, you can't do that. Arizona even attempted, I don't know where that stands right now, they attempted state legislation that would prohibit what you're doing. What you're doing with 50% success, they are more than a 50% success rate, they would actually prohibit by law. It's
not choice, is it?
It's not a choice. These
there we
people
go
are,
again.
like we said yesterday, they are habitual, pathological liars.
Well, I find it interesting also in this article, there's a Dr. Harvey Kilman that is an abortion rights advocate, but he has stated that if his daughter were to come up to him and say that she accidentally took the RU-486, the first pill, he told her that she needed to take 200 milligrams of the progesterone to reverse the pregnancy. He's even saying that this is what she needs to do.
Well, let me ask you this, Dr. Harrison. In an emergency room, if someone came in and said they had ingested potassium cyanide, for example, now I don't know if there's an antidote to potassium cyanide. My understanding is there probably isn't, and you're doomed. But let's just say that there was. But it only worked one time out of 500. But that was the best thing that was available. Wouldn't you go ahead and do that?
Absolutely.
Yes, and we see this as an emergency situation.
Maybe.
That's exactly right.
And it is for that woman too, because now
and we can't forget that progesterone has been shown to be safe in pregnancy, used as a supplement during pregnancy. So, we certainly do not want to put the woman at risk health-wise, but this is really the healthiest thing for her to support that pregnancy and keep going forward.
Absolutely. Well, I sincerely appreciate your coming on, and I'm sure we'll have you back on in the future, because this issue is not going to go away, and their opposition to it isn't going to go away either. So,
right. And I just came back from a conference in Canada where, of course, it's a hot topic now because they just within the past year approved the abortion pill, and so we do have 4 providers now in Canada that are available for reversal, and we're trying to recruit more.
Well, God bless you for what you guys are doing, because this is the front lines right here.
Yeah.
Y'all have over $350 here in the States, right, that are prepared to do this?
Yes, we have over 350 providers here. We're in 14 different countries, over 250 babies born healthy, and another 150 babies that are currently undergoing treatment, and their mothers are just so excited about it.
You know what I think?
Absolutely.
I think all 250 of those babies ought to be brought to a convention center somewhere, and these people who are in opposition to this must be forced to go in there and tell those babies they have no right to be here.
Yeah.
I think they should be forced to do that.
Well, we're raising a whole generation of abortion survivors.
Right.
And these voters as well.
That's right. And
so a lot of these are going to be standing up in the future. We do see a shift in the culture.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
right.
true.
And while our side's having babies, their side's having abortions. And abortions don't grow up to vote.
Yep.
And that's what they're scared of, I guarantee you.
Yep.
You know, one of the things that, and we're just about out of time here for this segment, but I want to bring this up. I think it's very important just from a philosophical standpoint. In the Nazi Holocaust, when the Nazis went from shooting their victims to gassing them, the gas they used was called Zyklon B, and it was developed by a company called IG Farben. After the war, IG Farben was engineers were actually tried at Nuremberg because they actually helped design the gas chambers that the Nazis used, and the reason they did that is so they could sell them Zyklon B. Well, the company then decides, IG Farben decided that, and this was a gigantic pharmaceutical company in Europe, and they decided they were not going to survive because their name was so associated with the Nazi Holocaust. So they changed their name, and IG Farben changed their name to Hercht AG. Hercht AG did survive, and they're now a pharmaceutical giant with subsidiaries all over the world, including the United States. Their head office is in New Jersey. But their affiliate in France is called Roussel-Uclaf. And Roussel-Uclaf is the people that developed RU-46. That's what RU stands for in Roussel-Uclaf. It's RU-486 is April of '86 when they released the drug. So in other words, and to me this has always been a chilling reality, the same company that developed Zyklon B for the Nazis to use in their death camps developed RU-46 for the Americans to use in their death camps. Were you aware of that, Dr. Harrison?
Yes, I was, and that's why I like to use the name RU-46 because it ties us back to that company.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And they're a gigantic company. They still sell products all over the United States, and you can go into any drugstore in the United States and find Hercht AG products in there. Sometimes they're Bayer, aspirin, and other things that they sell. But I just find it chilling to think that that same company is still in the death business.
So that's what I was going to say. We still know what their true agenda is.
Right, they're
killing people.
They're still out here hawking death every chance they get. It's just absolutely amazing. And you know, and again, we're way over time, but one of the interesting things is the Nazis admitted that one of the reasons that they went to Zyklon B gas instead of shooting their victims was the killers didn't have to see it happen. They could put them into these big gas chambers and lock them in there, and they didn't have to actually see the people dying. The next time they saw them, they were smoke going out the chimneys. And there's a lot of pro-aborts. You can go online and find a lot of pro-aborts have said, back when RU-46 was being debated, that one of the big advantages of it was that they could give this drug to women, and the women could go home and they would see the results, but the providers would not have to see it. So not only is it the same company, they're doing it for exactly the same reason. Isn't that strange?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Dr. Harrison, again, we appreciate your joining us, and I'm sure we'll be calling you again.
For all your hard work.
Well, same to you, sir, and God bless you.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, it's, you know, again, this thing of IG Farben and Hercht and so forth all goes back to the same deal. At its core, this is a spiritual battle that started in the Garden of Eden. This is just the latest incarnation of that battle. And it's the same thing. It's the classic struggle between good and evil. And that's why I say, I've often told the pro-life movement, don't be ashamed, don't be hesitant to identify these people as evil, because that's what they are. They're evil. These people are participating in an evil act. They know that they are, and they don't care. And I always say this, the pro-aborts know the same thing about abortion, and they know the same things about the unborn child that you and I know. The only difference between them and us is that we care and they don't. That's the bottom line. And so anyway, this battle right here, I can assure you, is not going to go away anytime soon, because I think it's growing. And like he said, I think one time we talked to him, they had 100 and something doctors that were doing this. Now he says they have 350.
Yeah.
So it's continuing
something
to go.
like that. Yeah.
And the pro-aborts are obviously not going to stop their opposition to it. And to suggest that they care about these women is just absolutely preposterous.
Right, and it's not true.
It's the bigger lie you tell, the more people believe it, apparently.
Right.
Joseph Goebbels, one of the, talking about Nazis, he proved that with Hitler. And these people are proving it with their claim about caring about the health and safety of women and the mental well-being of them. Anyway, got anything else?
No, just send in your questions or comments, suggestions for the show. We would like to hear them.
Yep, that's right. And we're gonna keep on this and keep you on the front lines of the battle so that you know what's going on. Believe me, things happen in this battle every day that the secular media is never going to tell you about, never. And if someone like us isn't out there doing it, then you won't hear about it. So I ask you to continue to support Life Dynamics, continue to support the show by watching it, get it out to all your friends and neighbors, all your pro-life buddies. Let them know about the show, because we're going to keep you posted about this stuff like this that's going on that nobody else is going to tell you. Anyway, we're out of time. Until next time, remember, Life Dynamics is not here to put up a good fight. We're here to win, because winning is how the killing stops. We'll see you next time.